How will he be received here?
Open arms.
Really?
I told y'all the reason why a lot of Republicans never went into the hood, into the Bronx and places like that, Harlem, is because they never needed the black vote to win. This is why Trump is different. I really do hope you guys are all doing well today. Welcome to my channel. I'm Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man. I really do thank every last one of you guys for taking time out of your day to view my content. If you do enjoy my content and you like to see more of it, make sure you click that right there, right now, so that this video and content like this will be recommended to you, all right? And also make sure you follow me on all the platforms you see listed up here and down here, all right? Praise your naked. When I do that, y'all, it's just a joking way of saying I appreciate it, okay? Yeah, and all that good stuff, yada, yada, peanut butter, yeah. Anyway, for some of you to actually think that I should make a shirt that says yada, yada, peanut butter, I will be doing that for you guys, and I'll let you know when I get those shirts out, okay? Guys, we got to talk about this because I told you guys it's something that is moving along on the red side. What is that? I have a lot of people who I'm in cahoots with, which I'm going to pretty much respect their wishes by not saying their names. And every last one of you guys that's listening to me right now, if you know any Republicans that are congressmen, senators, 80% of them I talk to all the time. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not going to say their names. Y'all might see me do a video on one of them later. Anyway, anywho, I told you guys in past times that Republicans never needed the black vote to win presidency, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, how crazy is it that the Republicans helped free black people? The Republicans are the ones who pushed and pretty much pioneered civil rights movement along with I know black folks, but I'm just saying, Democrats didn't want y'all to do that. Democrats didn't want no black folks to have civil rights. Democrats didn't want to free your black selves. I'm just being real with y'all. I know, Ty, why are you saying it like that? It's to get your attention. I know. Anyway, my point in saying it is that since then, it seemed like the Republicans have forgotten about the blacks. They feel like the blacks have abandoned them. Therefore, they like, well, we're not going to try to get them. And that's what makes us a little different. What am I talking about? President Trump is going to speak in the Bronx, the hood. Check this out.
Thousands of people are expected to turn out for Donald Trump's campaign stop today in the Bronx. The state of New York hasn't gone Republican since Ronald Reagan, and the district he's visiting hasn't voted for a Republican president in 100 years. Joe Borelli is a New York City councilman, has been helping the campaign organize this event, and he joins us now. Joe, good morning to you. You know, that whole 100-year thing is why Republicans don't campaign in New York City, because they feel like it's a waste of time. But today, Donald Trump is. Why?
Well, look, Carly, we, the Republican Party, just won our first elective office in that borough in about 30 years, so there is improvement. And you have to question why there wouldn't be more. Whenever I speak to my colleagues from the Bronx, they're always telling me that the Bronx is defunded, disenfranchised, neglected. Well, I got news for them. Who has been in charge of the Bronx for the better part of a generation? It's been Democrats at every level, at local, state, and federal government. So you shouldn't be surprised when people come out tonight in great numbers to hear someone who's not, singing from the same choir book. Donald Trump is going to go out there and really confront the public with why they're being faced with so many economic problems from Joe Biden. We know that the working class, the lower middle class, they're who gets affected by any economic downturn more than anyone else. So when New Yorkers are facing $3,000 more on energy bills, $3,000 more on food bills, thousands of dollars more on housing, there's no one to blame but Joe Biden and the Democrats. I think that's what you're going to hear Donald Trump make his main message tonight. And again, don't be surprised when thousands and thousands of Bronx residents show up and excited for a change.
Yeah, going back to the phrase, it's the economy, stupid. So there has been so much reaction to this campaign event, even from New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who says that campaigning in this part of the city makes sense for Donald Trump because he says there's a concentration of Latino ministers who are for pro-life in the Bronx, and they are mobilized and energized. I was reading about another Republican strategist who said Donald Trump might not win the state, but he can win the news cycle by going to this event later today. And then you start to think about what happened during the midterm elections with Lee Zeldin being within 5 points of Kathy Hochul, and you start to think, okay, maybe you can see why all of this is happening right now. Joe Biden is beating Donald Trump in polling, but by single digits, 9 points. So what factors have changed on the ground, Joe, in New York to turn New York, it's still a blue state, but I guess you could call it light blue now?
Yeah, look, Carly, he lost the state by 23 points in 2020. And that poll you just referenced, like you said, has him down by just 9. In that poll, he's winning the suburbs. He's winning younger voters. He's getting 20% or more of blacks. He's getting more than 30% of Latino voters. So there is something in the water here in New York that is causing people to finally wake up and realize it. It's, on one hand, it's the economy. And I mentioned that, how much more it costs to live in the Bronx this year than it did in 2019. And on top of that, it's the results of 5 years of a crime problem that's also the direct result of Democrats. You mentioned Andrew Cuomo. He's sort of the prime culprit, but it's broadly the Democratic Party nationally and locally who have given us these woke district attorneys, given us things like bail reform, things that you and I have talked about on this program time and time again. They are all the result of Democratic lawmakers, many of whom are from the Bronx, and whose constituents are sick of hearing the same garbage over and over again.
It's a great point, and we've spoken to a lot of Republicans who live in inner cities who are frustrated and saying Republicans never come around because they feel like it's a waste of time. Maybe if they start, they will get more support, and Donald Trump is doing just that today.
Now, some of you guys might be like, oh, no, I know that the news is all saying that, but what does the Bronx have to say about all this? Well, this is what some folks from the Bronx have to say.
All right, ahead of Donald Trump's campaign stop in the South Bronx today, Fox & Friends weekend co-host Rachel Campos-Duffy went there to see what residents are thinking of the former president.
Are you happy that he's coming here?
That's a good step for him. That's a good step for him. Yeah, him coming here is going to bring light to the hood. Him coming here is going to show that at least he's trying.
How will he be received here?
Open arms.
Really?
Open arms. Everybody gonna show him love. You come show love, they're gonna show you love right back.
Should Joe Biden come?
Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe gotta wake up if you want to come.
I love the bleep. Fox & Friends Weekend co-host Rachel Campos-Duffy joins us. RCD, great to see you as always. Yeah. Let's cut right to the chase. The question everybody wants the answer to. After being there and speaking with the people, do you realistically think that New York is in play for Donald J. Trump?
Well, the South Bronx is. Yeah. I mean, I was shocked. Honestly, I thought I was going to get a mixed bag. I interviewed dozens of people on a street corner, random. I only had one person who had something negative to say about Donald Trump.
Wow.
Everybody else was super honored and happy that someone was going to come and see the degradation of their neighborhood. They are so unhappy. Crime, inflation. They just are like, yes, please, somebody come and show us some love.
Wow, that's so, it's frustration.
Yeah,
it's
total frustration.
3 years of frustration and searching for answers. So what are the issues that you heard about the most? You mentioned crime, inflation. I mean, I have to mention crime is a big deal when you're talking about the South.
Yeah, and especially when you talk to women. Women are saying, I don't feel safe walking down the street. That's a big issue for women. But, you know, I also talked to a guy who owned a little business on a corner, and somebody had been shot right outside there. I'm sure he became a Trump supporter the minute that kid got shot, because they understand that these policies change. Also, a lot of negative comments, not just about Biden, but about the mayor. Yeah. They understand where these policies come from. Interesting, you know, again, the economy, obviously people were talking about inflation. Inflation hits the poor the hardest. And so they were feeling that, they were talking about that. Immigration, illegal immigration, even with people that I interviewed who prefer to be interviewed in Spanish, were saying this is straining our social services. Why are these people who came here illegally taking the money that should be going to our community? So that was fascinating to me as well. And then the trial. In fact, I think we have a clip about the trial. Then I'll come back on the other side and tell you what happened.
He's a superstar now. It's over. He's a superstar. There's a lot of people coming out in support of him. And once again, like people that weren't interested in politics, now they're watching a sham trial. They're watching all these things happen, and they're just like, what is going on? You know, they're hearing more about Trump than maybe. I think, in my opinion, they overplayed their hand by going after the former president of the United States.
Yeah. So we were on that suit. By the way, we got kicked out by the resident. It was like, and then that guy said, "This is very New York."
Not his suit. So they said,
yeah,
keep
get
it
out.
moving.
But you know, a lot of Hispanics look at what's happening at the trial, and this is a double-edged sword. You know, I think they wanted to embarrass him. You heard AOC say this trial is like an ankle bracelet. Yeah. He has to go to the South Bronx because he can't go anywhere. But the residents there, especially the Latinos, are going, this looks like the political circuses we saw in Latin America. It's revealing a level of corruption that they didn't know existed here in America. And once you weaponize the justice system, a lot of people say, oh, this is Marxism. This is communism. This is the stuff we left Latin America for. And they noticed. And a lot of people also said, I've been watching and I still don't know why he's on trial. So that was fascinating too.
Neither do we.
That's right, yeah. And Ed Cox, who's the chairman of the New York Republican Party, said that Republicans picked up a city council seat in the Bronx. First time in 40 years. Huge surprise. So you could see why the temperature is right.
So now, I know there can be a two-way street where some of you guys can be like, he's pandering because, you know, when Democrats do it, we say that Democrats are pandering. Is Trump pandering? And let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. Now, what do I think? I would say no. Why? Trump, just like I told you guys earlier, Republicans never needed the black vote to win. Look at every last president that we had that was red. President Bush didn't need the black vote to win. His daddy didn't need the black vote to win, did they? No, and not at all. So what am I saying that for? You can look at this and go, Trump really does care. You can actually say the same thing about President Biden if you want to. Biden going after black folks, because he really do care. But one thing we have to all look at is anything that's being reciprocated by either or. When President Trump was the president, were black folks doing better? President Biden is the president right now. Are black folks doing better? Yeah, I know. Anyway, folks, what do y'all think about Trump coming to the Bronx? President Trump, you need to come to Chi-Town is what you need to do too as well. Come to Chi-Town. One thing I love about this is that a lot of mainstream media is not going to show you guys what people from, like the guy said, from the hood. They're not going to show you what they're saying about Trump coming. They said, we're going to receive him with open arms. Then with Joe Biden, they're pretty much, I know that he made a joke in there, but he's like, if he can wake up and come here, yeah. But the thing is, what difference is it going to make? What difference is it going to make? Because you get pandered to, and President Biden had 4 years. What did he do? President Trump had 4 years. What did he do? That's all I'm saying. So again, the reason why President Trump is strategically campaigning where he is right now is because kind of can't leave right now with all the goddamn witch hunts that's going on with him right now. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And if I'm able to catch it, I will be covering that live and I will show it to you guys. So make sure you keep this channel up. Keep the tabs up, because if I do show President Trump speaking in the Bronx, I will make sure you guys see it as well. Don't forget, before y'all get out of here, to hit that thumbs up button right there. If you would, please, 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 please hit that. And if you guys all have something called a cellular phone, make sure you get into those cell phones and encourage somebody in your contact list to subscribe to the channel after checking it out, all right? Appreciate it. I am Ty Smith, Model Renaissance Man, and I hope and pray every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, I pray every last one of you guys are in great health. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.